All right, we should be live. What's going on, everyone? Yeah, it's coming through on Twitch. Playing around with this new platform. So I used to do coin chats a while back. I don't know, maybe 3 or 6 months ago. The whole goal with this little series, when I put out a daily video every single day, covering trading strategy, my thoughts on something macro, whether it's the carnage we're having in the market really ever since Monday. Want to look at Bitcoin sometimes, maybe look at some different trading setups. Always cover the biggest news of the day, and then touch on a piece of content from someone else in the community. Crypto lives on Twitter, and it's so tough to keep up, even if you do it full time. So this is a nice way for you to tune in. It'll be quick, 5-10 minutes. That's at least the format that worked. I think we'll keep it at that. So you can stay current with everything happening. I can share a few ideas, whether or not you agree with them or disagree with them. I think it'll be good things to be thinking about for your own trading and investing. Also a nice way to get some questions answered too. So what's going on? Everyone in the chat, looks like some people are still pouring in. What's up, Giovanni? Hutchin, I saw that news. I'm not sure I'm going to cover that today though. Anyways, guys, let's jump into it. Have a few different things I want to look at. We'll start with a Bitcoin chart over here. Before I get started, if you do want to chat over there on Twitch, be sure to smash the follow. It's in the top right, and then I will post this to YouTube after. So anything we cover, charts, topics, news, links, anything like that will be in the YouTube description down below. I'll upload it later tonight. That's how it's going to go. We'll be live on Twitch every single day, so do smash a follow. I'll update on Twitter always as well. Thanks for the follow, Crypto Rico. All right, guys, let's jump into it. So looking at the Bitcoin chart first, this is kind of how I want to start it off, looking at the market. I posted earlier today that it's really hard. LP, I'd say the best way is in chat. It's really hard to look at this and say anything too positive. It's very hard to look at this objectively and say, looking at low time frames, looking at high time frames, we've been declining for the full month of January. The one difference now in this last week of January that I'm noticing at least, and I want to touch on alt trading a lot more than I want to touch on Bitcoin today. We are starting a new monthly for Bitcoin. We're still kind of a decisive or possibly a turning point for Bitcoin before we get to 2018 lows. But the thing I want to touch on today is alt trading. So really ever since December, right? Early December, mid-December, when Bitcoin hit its 2018 low down here at 3,200, alts started off like this, and this is usually how cycles go. Majors did pretty well. ETH did 40-50% run. ADA did a 30% run. Tron obviously went on its monster run. Majors led the way, and usually that's because liquidity can go there first. Majors are usually kind of the highest or closely tied to Bitcoin, right? So they perform better when Bitcoin kind of gets that first bounce. So we see when Bitcoin bounced first, right, from all the way that run up to about 4K, majors did very well, right? And then there's a period for about 2 weeks that momentum stopped. Most, majors topped out, whether you look at ADA, you look at ETH, you look at tons of coins, really everything but Tron, everything kind of topped out. And then most of January, starting mid-January until this week, right? This is all kind of in this price action area. It was the first time in 3 or 4 months that Binance alts were actually doing well. And it wasn't an alt season. It's not Binance coins doing 2x and 5x and what some people might be used to. Alt season obviously means something different for everyone. But it was the first time where alts were doing quite well. So we were having coins, the vast majority of coins, not just 1 or 2, but 60 or 70 of the top 100 coins would be up 5 or 10% for multiple days in a row. And that lasted almost all of January until this last weekend. Price action with Bitcoin, what that looked like for Bitcoin, despite Bitcoin not moving up, right, we were actually quite stagnant. So we hung around this yearly open of 3,600 down to about 3,430. And even when Bitcoin was sitting still, it wasn't moving up, alts were still doing well, right? So for alts to move up, generally, vast majority of the time, there are some strange circumstances where this doesn't fit, but Bitcoin has to either be sitting still or moving up. Whether it's a risk tolerance thing, whether it's a correlation thing, that's generally what has to happen for Bitcoin for alts to move up. Just in the last week, right, we broke this 3,430 level, which I've had my eyes on, right, kind of a swing low. Support, whatever you want to call it. The moment we broke that, and that was this weekend going into Monday, right? Alts all of a sudden, now we have kind of negative momentum across the board. So majors aren't doing well. all the Binance alts that did do well for 3 weeks have now retraced right back to where they were. It doesn't mean that they look worse or that there's no chance they go up or anything like that. To be quite honest, they look the exact same as they did in January, right? And most alts had a good January. A lot of coins ran for 30, 40, 50%. Now they are kind of back at break even, but they had a good January, right? So that, to me, whatever metric you want to use, I think it's so important. Kind of the message I want to pass off with today's look at the market, whatever you're using as a metric for trading alts or deciding which alts to trade or deciding if alts even make sense, I think it is massively, massively important, and I have such high conviction in this. You need to understand kind of what's happening macro and base your decisions off that of whether it even makes sense to be in alts. It doesn't make sense to look at, the entire alt market and say, I'm going to pick a winner, based on this one having an ascending triangle or based on this one about to break resistance, right? You need to understand what's happening kind of macro-wise for alts, what's Bitcoin doing, and what's the next Bitcoin move going to kind of do for alts, right? My belief is if Bitcoin's above 3430, and as long as we trade in the same range we had, right, while alts were doing well, to me, alts could maybe do well again in February. But we need to see we need to see price above 3430. If Bitcoin moves up again to 4K, obviously alts could do well there as well. But until either of those happen, until we can actually reclaim 3430 and trade back in the same range as January, or if we can get back to 4K, right, I'm not optimistic on alts. I'm not going to be looking at alt trades, and I really think anyone that is probably going to be spinning their tires. Right? So it's a macro game. You need to be focused on bigger picture, what's happening, as opposed to if everything is stagnant or moving down, trying to pick that one winner just isn't going to work. Right? If you have any questions on that, fire those in. Second thing I want to cover is the biggest news story of the day coming from Binance, who seems to have the biggest news story of the day week after week. CZ keeps pushing the pace here. They enabled debit and credit card payments. So what that means, they've had a serious kind of initiative, I guess you could say, to enable more fiat to crypto on-ramps. I think that's great for crypto infrastructure. I think that's great when new entrants actually come in, right? I don't think short-term that this leads to any kind of demand increase or anything like that, but it is good. I think it's good. I think it's constructive longer term. What this actually means is now you'll be able to go on Binance and buy Bitcoin, ETH, Litecoin, or Ripple with your Visa or MasterCard, credit or debit. I believe Coinbase used to offer credit as well, but most of those have shied away from credit now. Based on experience in FX and other assets, I'm not sure how long the credit card is going to last. Typically, it's probably not good to be funding speculative trading accounts with debt. So I'm not sure how long that lasts. But I do think credit and debit card and kind of this fiat on-ramp and making it easier for people to get into crypto as opposed to having to buy Bitcoin and transfer it to these exchanges, that's easy for people watching this. That's easy for us. It's not easy for everyone when you're coming in. So that's probably the biggest news of the day. I think that's massively constructive long-term. I don't think it has too much of an effect short-term, unfortunately, but I do like to see it, right? Binance keeps pushing the pace, and now they're kind of in direct competition with Coinbase in a way. Hutchin, I will definitely hit that one as well. Last topic I want to cover, though, is every single day I'm going to highlight someone from the community. Crypto lives on Twitter. There isn't a Bloomberg. There isn't some aggregator that has all the news in one spot. I know it's impossible to keep up with everything across Telegram groups and Twitter and wherever else it might be. So for me, it's kind of a nice way with this series that I can highlight what I found the most helpful for the day or the best piece of content, share my thoughts on that, and then highlight it for you guys as well, so you can stop in and get that piece every single day. Today, looking at a tweet from Dan Zuller, I believe he volunteers at Masari, works with a couple other organizations as well, but he put out a piece in an infographic. It looks like Spencer Noon and someone else helped as well, that broke down crypto projects, crypto coins, whatever you want to call them, in terms of sectors and different kind of categories, right? And I guess just to go along with kind of my macro view and my belief that viewing the market with a macro kind of lens is so important, this is massively helpful. If you're looking at wallets and you're trying to understand, okay, what are the big players there? You're looking at exchanges, and maybe you're looking at exchange coins, and you say, okay, how does this coin stack up with this? It's so important to break things down by sector. Or if you want to learn more about governance, right, and you start looking into Decred, it's probably important to also look at how other projects are doing that as well. So I really like this infographic. I'll link it down below on YouTube. I can't do that here on Twitch, but I will link it in the video down below. I think it's something you should save if you are going to dive into, whatever it might be, side chains right there. You have 4-3 listed. You can dive into different projects, understand what the differences are. If you're looking at privacy coins, if you're looking at staking services, right? There's a really nice tool, really nice infographic. So Dan with the piece today, shout out Dan Zuller for putting that out there. All right. Those are really all the topics that I wanted to cover with you guys today. Like I said, I want to keep these short, 5 or 10 minutes. The market is bloody. The Bitcoin chart I just showed at the beginning of the stream, it doesn't look too good. I mean, if we recover 34.30, I think that's fine and we can move up, right? Maybe there's a fake breakdown. If not, I'm expecting 2018 lows. But my thoughts today are a lot more about alts. You have to understand or have some kind of plan or trigger or condition to what makes you even think about playing alts, right? If it's not an alt window and alts aren't all moving up, probably want to ignore even playing alts at all, whether that means risk off and not being in alts, whether that just means not opening new trades. I think that is something that you should 100% be thinking about, whether or not you kind of agree with using Bitcoin as the driver. Have some kind of metric, total market cap or ETH as a proxy, whatever it might be. All right. That's all I want to cover. Let's see if we have any questions. I'll try to hit a few of these before I wrap it up. You have to hit follow in Twitch to fire these in. Let's see what I got. Hutchin said, kind of off top, actually the first question from Hutchin was about what was that, Quadrig CX news. I saw the news. I'm not familiar. I've never used that exchange, so I don't have any insight there. Apologies, man. Best wishes to everyone that's stuck on that exchange. That's brutal. Lipet, best way to contact me, just reach out on Twitter. Kind of off topic. Wonder if you transfer your Bitcoin off of exchange after every trade that you close, or do you keep some on the exchange? Hutchin, I would just think about it in terms of, if you have a Binance trading account, right? That's kind of your Binance or your altcoin trading portfolio. Same way if you had a BitMEX trading account, keeping some Bitcoin on there. I don't see kind of the value in transferring Bitcoin or your coins off the exchange every single time. Obviously, there's a risk you have to take with being on any exchange, but that's just part of it. I don't think it makes sense to transfer off every single time. Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to take profit or get stopped out or anything like that. Lipet, me and Nye sent you a message. Oh, I'll see it. I can reach out to Nye. No problem, man. No problem. All right, guys, that's all I have. Like I said, I want to keep these short, 5 or 10 minutes every single day. I want to hit some kind of macro piece, some kind of way to dissect the market, share my thoughts. Hopefully it provides some value, especially when things start moving. I want to look at the most important levels that I'm finding important, little tips like that. Second piece, we're going to cover the biggest news of the day. And the third piece, I'm going to highlight someone every single day. Shout out Dan Zuller, shout out Big Beta. And that's all I have for you guys today. Make sure to follow on Twitch, keep getting these, and be able to fire in the questions. And then I'll upload it to YouTube as well. All the links that I covered will be down below. Thank you guys for stopping in. This would be a fun little way to interact with people and share some ideas every single day. What's up, Ronald? And that's all I got for you guys. So like, subscribe, comment, do whatever you have to do, share it. Appreciate all you guys stopping in. Stay well, stay safe, stay warm. I'm freezing. I stepped outside to let my dogs out, and you can see it in my face. So it's cold here. Hopefully it's not as cold as where you are. All right, guys, I'm signing off. Thanks for the follow, Monado, and stay well. I will see you guys tomorrow, same time.